Let's be honest. As we go through life, it is totally normal to develop some aches and pains along the way that make it very clear that the days of our physical abandon, especially between the sheets, are behind us. And that is why this video is all about how to have an amazing sex life if you are experiencing back pain. Because at one point or another, this is something that most of us adults are going to experience, but it doesn't have to put a damper on your sex life. So whether it's a twinge in your low back, an ache in your upper back, or a little bit of everything, amazing sex is still absolutely possible. And with some adaptations, patience, and creativity, you can still experience all of the joy and pleasure that great sex has to offer, no matter what your age, status, or abilities. Now, whether it's you or your partner who's experiencing discomfort, I'm going to share exactly what to do to make sex hot and steamy and enjoyable for you both. But remember, I'm not a doctor. I'm certainly not your doctor. And the number one expert on your body is you. So run everything that I'm saying by your own body, your own experience, and get curious along the way. This is going to require some detective work on your part. And if this is something that you have dealt with, please write in the comments below what creative solutions you have come up with along the way. That will be an incredible resource for other folks to draw from. Let's create a little well of advice and knowledge down there, shall we? Let's jump right in, but carefully. It's important to quickly go over the different types of pain that you or your partner might be experiencing, because there are different solutions for different back pain experiences, and understanding your enemy goes a long way towards defeating it. Type 1, lower back pain. That's pain in the lumbar region. This happens to be one of the most usual suspects for folks with back pain. This kind of back pain usually comes from muscle strain, herniated disc, sciatica. It can come from long-term postural stuff, sitting. Depending on the cause of this pain, it can also sometimes radiate down your legs. It can cause really sharp feelings of discomfort. Number 2, upper back pain in your thoracic region. Now, this one is also super common, but usually associated more with posture, stress, or tension. We carry a lot of emotions in our shoulders and our upper back, and you will often find people with knots between their shoulder blades, adding muscular discomfort into and around the back. This pain is often a bit more localized. It can also feel a lot like an uncomfortable tightness rather than just straight up pain. Type 3, generalized back pain. This is a bit more of a wild card. So if pain is popping up all over with no rhyme or reason, it may be a condition like arthritis or fibromyalgia. Certain conditions cause widespread discomfort that seemingly shows up whenever and wherever it feels like. Now, no matter what type of pain you or your partner are experiencing, I highly recommend that you see a healthcare practitioner. Go to a doctor, go to a chiropractor, get a weekly massage appointment if you can. Create a plan to treat the underlying cause if possible and to mitigate the symptoms as much as possible. You really deserve to do everything that you can do in order to reduce or eliminate your discomfort and enhance your quality of life. And obviously there are some things that cannot be shifted, and we have to learn how to accept them and move along with them, but don't accept that until you have tried everything. In the meantime, here's how you can get it on without further aggravating things. I'm going to share with you some specific positions, but before I do that, let's quickly go through some general tips for how to approach sex with any kind of back pain. Number 1, communication is key. Now, communication is like the first tip in 95% of my videos, but trust me, that is for a good reason, especially whenever there's pain in the mix. It is so important for whoever's experiencing the pain to feel totally comfortable voicing what feels good and what doesn't. You've got to develop the skills to ask for what you need and state what does and doesn't feel good for you. And that's because depending on the reason for your back pain, the wrong position, the wrong thrusting, the wrong technique could make things worse. Communicating clearly about what works and what doesn't is crucial if you are going to find some workarounds. It might feel awkward at first, communication often does, but keep practicing. You will get better at it with time. Give yourself permission to f it up and try again. Tip number 2, slow it down. This is probably the other 5% of my videos. Especially when it comes to back pain, we are looking for comfort over speed, my friends. No matter what position you are trying, it is always good to ease in, go slow, create a buildup. Like, move towards a pace that's comfortable for you both, but start low and slow so you have a place to build up to. The last thing you want to do is get overly excited and end up having to lay down on a hard surface in order to ease your aching back. Tip number 3, make friends with adaptive accessories. When it comes to sex with back pain, pillows, wedges, different surfaces of different heights are all your friends and your trusty assistants. Whether it's the kind of pillows you have at home or specialized items that you can buy specifically for sex, you can use them to prop you up, move your back, move your hips, move your partner's hips, wherever you need them to be. Some of the most cool accessories in this department are made specifically for sex and have really cool features like machine washable zip-off covers. I will include a link to some of my favorites in the description. Tip number 4, it's all about the warm-up. Look, there is literally no shame in needing to warm up a bit before jumping into bed, and I am not referring to foreplay here. Depending on the source of your back pain, a little bit of yoga or stretching throughout the day, getting in a hot room or a sauna or a bath or even just a warm shower can do wonders for tight and tense muscles. And like I mentioned earlier, don't forget massages. Body work from a qualified professional may be the thing that you need in order to preserve your sex life. And if that's not within your current budget, ask your partner for help. You can work together to figure out what moves, touches, pressures make the biggest difference for you. All right, tip number 4, we weren't talking about foreplay before, but now focusing on foreplay. Thrusting and grinding can be pretty tough on the back, but you know what is going to rarely aggravate it? Good head in the right position. Or what about some gentle touching and teasing or energy play? Regardless of whether or not there is back pain in the equation, I always stress the importance of foreplay. Penetrative sex is just part of the sexual experience, and we really need to stop viewing it as the main event. If you want an electric sex life that doesn't hurt your back, get really good at foreplay and use it as a reason to explore each other's bodies in new and exciting ways. Remember that foreplay is about way more than just oral or manual sex. It is the words that you use. It is the context that you can create. It is the kinky fantasy that you share. It is the energetic connection. It is breathing. It is touching. It is the majority of sex really falls under that category, if we're honest. And if we can't do intense thrusting or rocking or grinding for very long, we better get really good at getting up to the point where that will feel good so that we can sustain it for as long as it does feel good and we don't feel like we missed out on anything. You may be used to just like pound, pound, pound and like rail, and that may not be an option for you anymore. It doesn't mean that you are not having great sex. It doesn't mean that you're not a great lover. It doesn't mean anything about your sex life other than you've adapted to life. Congratulations. This is human stuff right here. Let's get into the positions. Many of the his and hers options that can support various different kinds of back pain. But again, you are the expert in your own body, so experiment and report back to me in the comments. Let's start with lower back pain. If you are a man with lower back pain, there are 2 positions that I highly recommend. The first is modified doggy style. The key is to let your partner do much of the work while you keep your back in an upright position that feels good to you. If she's on a steady surface, she can lean forward and back, sliding you into her without you having to worry about doing much of the thrusting. You can even lead her position by putting your hands on her hips and moving her back and forth. Now, the second position is spooning. This is a great position for men with back pain because it allows you to lie on your side, which is perfect for keeping pressure off of your back. This can also be a very intimate and very sensual position because as you're entering her from behind, your hands are free to wander all across the front of her body. Plus, your mouth is lined up with her ear for all kinds of dirty talk, which if you're not confident with, you can check out my video on that next. Now for the women with lower back pain, my lower back pain girlies. First up, I highly recommend comfy cowgirl. Cowgirl, or woman on top, is actually a great position for back pain because there are so many ways to customize it and to make it feel good for your body, because you are in complete control of your angle, of the movement, of the depth. You actually get to modify it to the degree that you need to for it to feel good. You can get support by placing your hands on your partner's chest or even on the bed for balance. You can go at the exact speed and rhythm that you want, and you don't have anyone pounding into you, which can be very aggravating on the lower back. You can even choose between a grinding motion or more of an up and down motion, depending on what feels right for your body. Now, the second position that I love for women with lower back pain is adjusted missionary. Sometimes the best cure for aches and pains is a bit of rest. And there is no better restful position for a woman than missionary. From here, you can focus on activating your pelvic floor and your vaginal muscles to pleasure him instead of keeping your back engaged. And if this position isn't perfect for you right out of the gate, try making some adjustments. This is where a trusty pillow or a prop or a wedge underneath your sacrum, underneath your butt, can come in. For some women, placing a pillow under their lower back provides the kind of support that they need to get into a comfortable position where sex can feel really good. Now, let's talk about upper back pain. We'll begin with men. I love, for men with upper back pain, the position Reclined Cowgirl. If you are a man and you are feeling pain up in this area, you can try relaxing and letting your partner take charge. You can place a pillow underneath your back, under your head, if that feels really good for you, allowing your head and neck to be supported. In this cowgirl position, it is crucial that your partner moves in a way that doesn't create too much impact on your body. So I recommend having her straddle you and lean her body down towards you so that you're almost parallel. From there, movements can be shallow and smooth. Working their way up in intensity will not create a whole lot of movement in your spine. Now, this does require that she have some hip dexterity, so if she doesn't, this position may not be perfect, but try it anyways. Now, if you, as the man, have the arm strength and it doesn't aggravate your back, you can grab her hips, you can rock her back and forth, maybe even vigorously, if that feels great for you both. Again, if that aggravates your back pain, don't do it. Now, the second position that I love here is side by side. Now, this can be done spooning or facing each other, but in either way, you're laying on your side. This is a great way to create some stability for your upper back. It is generally a low impact position. It doesn't put too much pressure on the spine, and so your upper back won't be having to put in a whole bunch of work. For women with upper back pain, you can always try these positions. One, supported doggy style. Regular doggy style can actually be painful on our upper back because a woman may have to use her arms and her shoulders to support herself. But if you are a woman with upper back issues, you can absolutely still enjoy this position with some simple adjustments. So rather than supporting yourself with your arms, your wrists, your shoulders, try resting your upper body on a surface with your partner behind you. You can try kneeling on the floor and laying your chest down on the bed while your partner kneels behind you. This could also mean taking things out of the bedroom and trying some standing positions while you lean on a counter or on a kitchen table or a couch. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I love a little change in scenery. I think we should be using our couches for sex way more often. Another great position to try is a seated position, because sometimes the best thing for back pain is having a supportive surface keeping your spine in alignment. And in this case, a sturdy chair can do wonders. In seated positions, the woman sits on a low chair and has her partner kneel before her to enter her. Another seated position that may work for you is Yab Yum, which is lotus position, on a chair where the man sits on the seat and the woman lowers herself over him. She can arch her back if that feels good, but she can also hold her back still and just tilt her pelvis, which lengthens the lower back and can actually feel really good. And finally, let me share some of my favorite positions for generalized back pain. If your back is hurting all over the place, then simplicity is going to be your best friend. For men and women alike, I recommend flat positions. Laying flat on your back really usually is the most relieving and least risky thing that you can do when it comes to dealing with back pain. You can use any pillows or props that make things feel comfortable for you. That could mean like raising or lowering one leg or one hip, depending again on where your back pain is. And then if you want to switch it up from lying flat, then I'm going to take it back to seated positions. Seated positions with some kind of back support, again, customize it to your individual back, are usually a great option. For women, this could mean a man in front of her kneeling and entering her that way. For men, it might mean that the woman that you're with is straddling you while you have your back supported. While these positions don't always lend themselves to intense thrusting, that's really not what we want when it comes to dealing with back pain. Less movement often allows for more pleasure. Now remember, just because one of you is struggling with pains and aches doesn't mean that you have to take the fun and curiosity out of sex, which is why I created an entire course on thrusting and positions. Inside of this course, I break down all of the modifications that you can create to various sex positions in order to make them work for you. No matter what size or shape your body is, no matter how big or small your genitals are, no matter what other life experiences you've had that have led you to need to make some modifications, I walk you through all of it. I also walk you through the best positions to create different kinds of orgasms in the female body, and the course comes complete with a live demo so that you can see all of these positions and modifications for yourself. If you have ever felt frustrated by watching these like super acrobatic 22-year-old yogis in the sex positions guides doing all kinds of like pretzel shapes that we know you can't really get penetration in, I'm just gonna say it that way, then you will love this course. I made it for the average human being who wants to have an incredible sex life and wants a little bit of creativity in the bedroom to take the things that they know work and spice them up, or discover some things that work specifically for them in the bodies that they're in today. It comes with a 90-day money-back guarantee. The link is in the description. Check it out. Now, I hope that this video and my course will include many positions that work for you. It is okay if some of them feel a little awkward at first or they take a little time and practice to get into. That's all right. Stick with it until you figure out whether or not it's right for you and your body. Great sex is about care. It's about focusing on pleasure. It's about exploring. There's no room for shame, but lots of room for laughing your way through it until you find something that works for you both and turns you both on. Lastly, these tips and positions can help ease the symptoms of back pain during sex, but they're not going to get rid of the pain itself. If you are experiencing chronic back pain and haven't gotten it checked out yet, I recommend go to a medical professional. Be your own best advocate when it comes to your health and well-being, even if that means getting a second or a third opinion or trying alternative therapies like acupuncture, chiropractic. Please check it out. You are so worth it. Thank you for watching. I wish you all of the neck pillows and supports and stretches and hot baths and everything else that you experience to create an amazing sex life, even as you navigate pain. Don't forget to write in the comments what has worked for you. And if you love this content, make sure that you are subscribed so that you don't miss anything from my weekly videos on all things sex and relationships. I'm Caitlin B. I will see you here next time.